let's move on. Let's talk about the last positional group that we're going to talk about before we get into some sneaky ones. Not necessarily the best, but sneaky ones. Let's talk about Georgia's tight end room. And we could have talked about the Georgia's tight end room every year for the last 5 years.
Jeez.
So, CD, who is it this year?
Well, so obviously everyone knows you lose Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington before that. And you've had some obviously high profile guys head out there. You even had at one point you had Eric Gilbert, who, if you're a college football fan, you know his tragic story and obviously bumping around and not quite living up to his potential. But this year it's gonna be Oscar Dope and Benjamin Urosek and Lawson Lucky. And that's the beauty of this room is you've got three guys who each bring a little bit differently run blocking, pass blocking, and even like in passing the catching the ball athletically, build wise, like a little bit something different to the table that you can really, really take advantage of. But Oscar Delp's the guy, right? He's the guy who waited his turn patiently, who's flashed in his own right. Super, super good run blocker. Obviously helps them with Branson Robinson and them trying to establish the running game. But he's also pretty effective in the passing game. Benjamin Urasek, guy, hasn't stepped on campus yet, coming over from Stanford. Matthew, I know you're super, super high on him. And part of the reason, only one of the bright spots of Stanford just a year ago. And then Lawson Lucky, former high recruit, played a good amount as a true freshman at Georgia in an already stacked tight end room and got some nice experience there. I know that staff is high on him.
Yeah, I mean, all Pac-12 player in Benjamin Urasek. I don't know if he's even on campus yet. Like, I feel like he's kind of in 0 to 30. He doesn't post on social media. I have had a tough time finding out if he's actually on campus, like what's actually going on with him. Like, is he going back to Stanford? I have no clue. I have no clue. This is all knowledge that I wish I had. But if he is on that team, that is nuts. Oscar Delp, like you said, really good. Really, really, really good football players. Had some nice highlights there. Yeah, sure, he was overshadowed a little bit by Brock Bowers. Okay. But he was very productive in Brock Bowers' absence. Not the same level of athlete that Brock Bowers is, but he's a very good tight end. Very, very good tight end. And there are other tight end rooms that we could talk about, and maybe there's some better tight ends out there than Oscar Delp. When you're too deep, the way that Georgia is with Benjamin Yurcek is a very nice receiving threat. Very, very nice receiving threat. And so is Oscar Delp. So are you going to get a lot of 12 personnel? Maybe. Kind of, you got some maulers up front. I mean, the running back room's not terrible. I mean, you could see a lot of 12 personnel for Georgia, you know,
Um,
and that's 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 not a bad thing. You don't see a
no,
lot of that in college football. Sometimes it's good when everyone's zigging, you zag.
I really like Carson Beck underratedly with his back to the basket, right, or off the play action fake. I think he's a pretty darn good quarterback off the play action, which obviously helps your all offense. But yeah, I mean, you're a set guy, 1,300 yards at Stanford over a couple of years. And yeah, just the way Georgia uses their tight ends in the past, we've seen them take advantage of really, really high end guys. And obviously, they have the talent there to do so. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like you said, everyone's zagging. Like tight ends are hard to find in the portal. And Benjamin Yursek's guy, when he entered the portal and we saw that, we were like, whoa, that's a pretty nice guy for somebody. And ended up at Georgia, who didn't really need him, but they'll take him. And that's kind of the reality of Georgia football right now, where you're just stacking talent on other talent. And that's the way to do it in the transport if you can, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
hurt.
forgot about that. I forgot about this running back room too. This is a very good running back room for Georgia. If you're gonna run a lot of 12 personnel and you're running with Branson Robinson behind and Trevor Etienne, could be pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I know Trevor Etienne got in trouble, but I'm assuming he'll be back because it feels like every Georgia player that has had driving incidents has been back.
I'm sure. Hopefully he learns his lesson. Obviously, pretty scary what he did, but the fact that you lose Brock Bowers, who, by the way, was a unicorn at the tight end position, right? A guy that I literally took in our fantasy draft in the SEC because at wide receiver position, I took him in
Or
our
yeah,
pass catchers.
your flex position or whatever.
Yeah, we called it pass catchers, and I took Brock Bowers over everybody else, and yeah, I got hurt, kind of screwed me, but that's crazy that you can lose Brock Bowers, and that's how good we feel about Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky and obviously Benjamin Urasek once he gets there this summer.
Yes.